and I was thinking about the rich tribal culture of this area, of how your culture has coexisted beautifully with other cultures in our country, and how every religion is practiced in Kerala peacefully and with freedom. And just like the tribal culture, which has a deep respect for land, for the earth, for the forests, the farmers of Uttar Pradesh have a deep respect and a deep connection to their land, to their crop, to the earth, and to the world around them. And it is when I looked at these lush green hills, and I thought about your tribal culture, and I thought about the farmer in UP, that the immensity of the betrayal that the BJP government has enacted for the last 5 years with the people of India truly struck my heart. Because this is my country, with a different culture, with its own way of living, with its own tradition, with its own different religions living together. All of that is our country. It is my country. And all the BJP has done in the last 5 years is tell you that this is separate, that is divided, that you do not all belong, that a part belongs more, another part belongs less. This is an immense betrayal of what India stands for. Our freedom fighters gave their lives for all of us. They gave their lives for a country in which all of us, with all our separate ideologies, with all our separate ways of being, should thrive and flourish. They fought for the power of the people. 5 years ago, a government came into power that was voted in with a big majority. The people of our country placed their faith and their hopes in the BJP government. And that government, from the moment it came to power, began to betray that faith, that they would double their income. They promised young men and women that they would produce 2 crore jobs every year. They promised people that they would put 15 lakhs in each person's bank account. But once they came into power, they forgot those who gave them power, that the power belonged to them and not to the people. The first indication of this gross misunderstanding came when their own president declared shortly after the election that the promise of 15 lakhs in every bank account was just for the sake of the elections, what he called a jumla. But as the 5 years progressed, one after the other, evidence came before us of the fact that this government was never even interested. It never had the intentions of fulfilling any of these promises. The same farmers whose income they were supposed to double became helpless. You in Wayanad are well aware that when there were floods, no relief was provided to you. You are well aware that when you have had difficulties and farmers have been in debt, no relief has been provided to you. Programs like Manrega have been rendered weak, and wherever I go, I am told that there are so many issues with it because the government has purposely tried to strangle it and bring it down from what it used to be during Congress government. My grandmother Indira Ji always had a deep respect for the tribal culture and the tribal people. Out of that deep respect came the Congress's policies for you and the Congress's policies to bring you forward while retaining your own identity and your own culture. The Congress has always protected tribal land and tribal livelihood and will continue to do so. In our manifesto for this election, we are also proposing a scheme called Nyay, in which 72,000 rupees will annually be given to every family which is in distress and in need. Young people will be able to start their own companies, their own businesses without the baggage of multiple permissions and taxes. Education up to the 12th standard and health in government hospitals will be provided for free. The fundamental difference between what the BJP promises you and the Congress promises you is firstly that the Congress has the intention to deliver, and it has proved this. It has proved this in states where the Congress has come to power and has waived loans of farmers in the last few months itself. And the other fundamental difference is that the Congress wants to empower you. The Congress understands that the power of the people is supreme, whereas the BJP has shown that it does not respect the people. It does not understand that the power is given to it by you. Its policies do not reflect a respect for you. Its policies reflect respect only for a few businessmen for whom they are available all of their time. Their efforts to weaken democracy, to shut down the voice of the people when it is raised, to weaken institutions that protect the people's rights, that protect the people's ability to protest and to show their displeasure against the government, is a sign of how much they respect the people of India. So I am here before you today to ask you to consider all these things when you go to cast your vote, to understand that to protect our country, to protect your voice, to protect democracy, to protect all those institutions which are there to safeguard the power that actually belongs to you, you must vote having thought and considered all these things in great depth. My friends, I also stand before you today as a sister. I stand here on behalf of a man who I have known from the day I was born. He is going to be your candidate in this election, and over the last 10 years, he has faced a massive personal attack from his opponents. They have sought to portray in front of all of you and in front of the people of India a character of his which is very far from the truth. It is for this reason that I would like to tell you a little about him today. As children, the two of us shared a childhood in which we experienced the devastation of violence and loss. Indira Ji was like another mother to us. My brother was 14 years old and I was 12 when she was assassinated in our own home. Our small family of 4 was bound together by the deep love that our parents shared, and that love gave us the courage to face what was happening to us. 7 years later, at the age of 21, when my brother was studying in Harvard University, my father was assassinated. My brother and I were shattered. But even in that moment of shattering, he said to me that he had no anger in his heart. Soon after the passing away of my father, my brother decided to work hard and equip himself to fulfill the dreams that my father could not fulfill. He finished his education at Cambridge University in the UK and got himself a job. He worked anonymously without the crutches of connections and the name of his family until he came back to India in 2004 and stood for election in Amethi for the first time. My brother is a man who believes so deeply in equality that he will not remain silent in the face of inequality. Sensing the unfairness of the political system, one of the first things he did was he attempted to democratize the frontal organizations of the Congress party of which he was in charge. Despite much criticism, he went ahead. And even today, as I travel across India, I meet so many young MLAs who tell me that if it was not for this process that he had instituted in the frontal organizations, there would be no chance for them to have risen through the political system without patronage or favors. As I worked with him in Amethi, we started a group of self-help group for women. At that time, my idea was that it should help a few hundred women in the constituency, Because wherever I used to go, I used to see how disempowered my sisters were and how much difficulty they had to face all on their own. When my brother became MP of Amethi, he grew that program, which was helping 500 women, into a program which is the biggest self-help group for women today in northern India. And there are more than 1 million women who are benefiting from it. One day, elections were coming, and I said to him, there are so many women in this self-help group, why don't we tell them about our ideology and ask them to help us spread it? And he turned to me and he said, no, Priyanka, we are not empowering these ladies so that they should be indoctrinated with our views. We are empowering them so that they should have views of their own. And he did not let me do it. My brother is a man who led a farmers' movement when his own party was in government in order to show his own party that they needed to reconsider their policies. He is a man who opposed an ordinance passed by his own government because he believed it protected untruth. He is a man who was ridiculed for his courage and berated for his ideas, yet he never allowed himself to become prey to anger and hatred. He is someone who is abused daily by his opponents. His education is questioned. His martyred father is called a thief. His mother is called names. And yet he has the courage and the wisdom to stand up in parliament, walk over to the other side and hug those who abuse him. He is able to do this because he has done tremendous inner work in order to better understand himself. It is not much known, but he has read most of the religious texts of Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism, and also of Christianity. And he understands the Vedas, the Upanishads, Shaivism with a great depth that I doubt very much those who claim to be the political custodians of Hinduism understand. In his personal life, he is simple. One day I went to his house and I saw him cleaning his cupboard. I asked him, what are you doing? He said, I am reducing everything I have to just 10 things. And ever since then, he neither has more than that, nor he needs more than that.
അന്നു മുതൽ ഇന്ന് വരെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് സ്വന്തമായിട്ട് 10 വസ്തുക്കളല്ലാതെ വേറെ ഒന്നും കൂടുതലില്ല. അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് അതിൽ കൂടുതൽ ആവശ്യവുമില്ല.
Since I am telling you about him, and I know you love soccer, he loves soccer as well. He is a black belt in Aikido, a qualified pilot, an instructor level free diver who can dive 75 meters into the sea in one breath. He has done mountaineering courses with the ITBP when he was young. He's passionate about soccer and travel and has traveled the world to understand people. And I'm sure when he finds out that I've said all this today, he's not going to like it very much because he shuns publicity for himself. And he is a man for whom being praised or being victorious has no meaning. For him, justice matters, truth matters, and equality for everyone around him matters. He never looks at a problem superficially. He finds the root of the problem. He finds the structural issue with it. And he works hard and single-mindedly to resolve it. He believes in the freedom of expression, of language, of worship, of culture. He understands that the true nature of this nation was built, that it was built by the people, for the people. We all go to him for advice, and he always speaks the truth, whether we like it, whether it makes us angry or upset or not. In the atmosphere of division, hatred and negativity that pervades our country today, where the greed for political power is so insatiable that it has displaced the needs of the people, the suffering of the people, that the constitution is being destroyed, that democracy is being undermined, and the people's suffering has become secondary to one man's whims and weaknesses. A man like Rahul Gandhi, whose abiding faith in equality, love and freedom, his ability to embrace and resolve is a powerful message to all of us. Last year, when he was flying to Karnataka for a campaign, the plane he was flying in fell several thousands of feet all of a sudden. When I heard about this incident, I immediately called up his secretary because I couldn't get through to him. And I said, How is he? Is he okay? His secretary said to me, Didi, we were all praying and terrified, but he was standing near the cockpit with the pilots, helping them to handle the crisis. He was completely calm. He is a man I can depend upon to stand by me through thick and thin, to show me always unflinchingly right from wrong. A man in whose hands I know you are safe. I know he is fully committed to your welfare, and I know that if there is ever a crisis, he will stand by you shoulder to shoulder and fight for you. So my sisters and brothers of Wayanad, I entrust you with my brother Rahul, and I believe and know that you will put your faith in him and he will be true to you. Thank you for having come all the way. Jai Hind.